So here's a portion of a letter that was written to Sterling Arnwine's descendants. There's a man in Canton, the community, who is descended from an enslaved family, and his story was shared with the Library of Congress so that future generations can hear his first-person account. So Canton honors Sterling Arnwine, a man who was born into and survived slavery and whose descendants now reside in Canton, Michigan. Sterling's story was recorded during an interview with the Federal Writers Project as part of the Slave Narrative Project in 1936. The entirety of the project, including Sterling's interview, has been entered into the library. Sterling was born in 1853 on Gum Creek, about 3.5 miles south of Jacksonville, Texas. His mother, Ann, grandmother, Gracie, aunts, Winnie and Mary, cousins, Tom, Eddie, and Vinnie, half-brothers, Joe, Will, and John Scott, and sisters, Polly and Rosie, were enslaved by Albertus Arnwine. His mother was originally from Memphis, Tennessee, and he never knew where his father, Ike Lane, was born. Albertus did not enslave any adult men, so Sterling and his male cousins and half-brothers were the only boys around. All his family, except for his grandmother, lived in cabins in Albertus's yard. Albertus died when Sterling was 7 or 8 years old. Despite Albertus leaving his land to be divided among the women he enslaved, and receiving a deathbed promise from Judge Jowell that the enslaved people would be taken to free country, the women never received the land. Judge Jowell took them to be enslaved on his own land for a year or two. Sterling knew he was owed a stake in the land, but he never had the money to fight it in court. Sterling didn't earn money before the end of the war, but he described a time that his brother-in-law gave him $5, which he proudly showed the girls when he picked them up from school. Then he told them he didn't need that and took his money, giving him 2 sticks of candy in exchange. His only toys were stick horses, which he put many miles on. When the war ended, Mosley gave his children Confederate money, and they gave some to the formerly enslaved children to trade and buy horses, stick horses. Mosley didn't seem to mind when freedom came to his enslaved people, but Miss M bawled and squalled and decried her property being taken from her. Sterling ended up in Ragsdale, Texas. He was married 4 times, though his wives preceded him in death. At the time of his interviews, he had 4 living daughters, Joyce, Mabel, Georgie, and Mary Ann. He also had several small grandchildren he was helping to raise. The interviewer met him helping his children and grandchildren, working in the field despite his failing eyesight and overall feebleness. He was appreciative and grateful that someone had enough interest to sit with him and talk about his life. Canton Township is so proud and grateful for the courage Sterling Arnwine showed both as an enslaved child and recalling the no doubt painful memories decades later. His story, forever enshrined in the Library of Congress, is but many from a terrible chapter of American history. We are honored that Sterling's descendants asked Canton Township to be a small part of recognizing the great strength and fortitude of their ancestor. Let no one forget the reason for celebration on Juneteenth, and Sterling's story is a perfect reminder. As a result of Sterling Arnwine's struggle, we have issued a proclamation to his family, and it is being mailed out because they could not attend today. So Clerk Segrist is now going to read a proclamation from the Governor Whitmer.